Yesterday, in honor of the Rabbeinu Tam's Yortzeit, I had mentioned about Rabbeinu Tam's different opinion regarding Tefilin as his grandfather. Let me just today be a little bit technical and explain what it means. We have two Tefillin, one that we put on the arm, the left side, or the left arm for those who are rightist, and the one that we put on the head. I hope you can see the one in the arm is like one straight box. The one for the head is, if you can see, has 4 compartments. It looks like from outside like it has lines. Now these are not just lines, but these are actually 4 compartments inside. Let me show you a picture of an open one, which obviously we can't open the tefillin itself, but here's a picture. So you have the one opening inside, and the tefillin for the head with 4 openings. As you can see on the picture, inside these openings there is a scroll, there's a parchment, either 1 for the hand or 4 for the head. What are these parchments? So inside the tefillin we have the 4 mentions in the Torah about the mitzvah of putting on tefillin. We find it twice in Exodus and then twice in Deuteronomy in Devarim. The first time you find it in Exodus in Shemais in chapter 13, where Torah says regarding the mitzvah of sanctifying all the firstborn. There it says 3 verses later, and you should bind it as a sign on your hand and put it as a memory between the eyes. And then further in the same thing it says, when God will bring you to the land, eventually the land of Israel, bind it on your hand and put it as a sign between the eyes. This is in Shemais. Further down in Devarim, we have the famous Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and we have a haftarah there where it says, "Ukshartam lo'is al yadecha v'oyret etofes b'neinachem." Should bind it on your hand and should put it as a sign between the eyes. And then further in the same in Devarim again, chapter 11, in V'hoyam Shemaya. Again, it's mentioned about the tefillin. So we know, and this is tradition back all the way from Moshe Rabbeinu, from Sinai, that inside the tefillin there's a hands-written scroll by a scribe, those 4 mentions of the Torah about the tefillin. But the question is, what order? How is it put in? So there's a discussion in the Talmud, and the Talmud says the following. And I'm going to stick to the one for the head, so to say. Because the same thing is regarding the one in the hand, but it's just one long scroll rather than 4 compartments, as I said. So the Talmud says the following, that Kadesh and Vayikivyacha, which is the first 2 mentions in the Torah, comes to the right of the tefillin. Shema and Vayashemaya, which is later on in the Torah, goes to the left. Now, when we're talking about the right and left, or most of them, I should say, agree that we're talking about right and left the way it is for us. When we're looking at it, when it's facing us, let's say it's facing you now, it is, the right is here, the left is over here. Facing you, the tefillin facing you. So, Rashi says, right to left, Kadesh, second one, Vayakivyacha, third one, Shema, fourth is V'hoyam Shema. Going from right to left, which is actually also according to the order, the way we find it in the Chumash. Comes Rabbeinu Tam, he says, hold it. There's a different way of looking. The Talmud says, Kadesh Vayikivyacha to the right, Shema V'Shemai to the left. So let's look at it this way. Kadesh Vayikivyacha to the right, going from the right further towards the left, because one after the other. But then we have Shema and Vayishemaya to the left, meaning that we start from the left. Shema on the outer part of the tefillin, and the middle one, the second one going now to the right, will be Vayam Shemaya. So this is the difference of opinion. Now, according to Rashi, what comes out? That we actually go according to the regular flow, how it's written in the Chumash. According to Rabbeinu Tam, comes out that the 2 portions starting with V'hoya, and it shall be. They both come in the middle. The V'hoya from V'hoya Keviyacha and the V'hoya from the V'hoyam Shema, they're next to each other. These are the difference of opinions between Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam, and as you can see, as I pointed out here again, how it looks inside. Now what's very interesting, it's recorded, that in the tomb of the prophet Yecheskel, they found tefillin, all tefillin. And there it was according to the order the way Rashi says. Yet when they found the cave of Bar Kochva, and they were all righteous religious people, there they found tefillin like the Rabbeinu Tam. So obviously this is a discussion going back, way back. According to Kabbalah, indeed, those two opinions are valid. Elu va'elu divrei Elokim chayim. They both represent a different level in spirituality. And basic one is we put on the Rabbeinu Tam. But it says in Shulchan Aruch, those are a little bit more scrupulous, we'll also put on, basic one will put on the Rashi Tefillin. And those who are a little bit more scrupulous, it says, we'll put on Rabbeinu Tam. Make sure you put on at least Rashi.